Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're looking at Illusion Connect and more specifically the 3 story heroes that you do get along the way from like the very start of the game. That is Seiya, Nina, and Victoria. I wanted to go through them a bit more in depth because they are unique compared to the rest of the partners in the game. And I want to go through whether they're actually going to be decent, whether you should build them from the start, later on, all that sort of stuff. So let's get into it. Now these 3 partners are very different to everyone else in that they start at R, but they can be upgraded to SSR. Every other rare hero is stuck at rare, every other SR hero is stuck at SR. So these guys are very unique in that they wanted to make them progress with you throughout the game to tie into the storyline, which is a nice idea, but hey, it just gives us some more viable heroes is pretty much the gist of it. Now, how we actually upgrade them, for Seiya here, it's going to be through this event, and as you can see, that is all we can get at the moment. So I have gathered up the top there, you can see the pieces that we can get. The last one's just a skin, so that's all we can get at the moment. Now this account is probably a week and a half to 2 weeks, I can't remember how long into the game. I've been playing it very casually and I've only spent $1 in the game, so this is like a fairly free-to-play representation of where you'd be at after probably maybe a week or less in the account, in an account if you played pretty hard. So you can get her upgraded fairly quick, and when we look at her compared to the rest of my my partners for SSR, she's actually my most upgraded SSR, so she is going to be useful to invest in that early stage, to get the extra stats out of her, because she does advance faster than others. For whales and stuff like that, if you're doing heaps of summons and spending a lot of money, you'll probably end up having 5 and 6 star SSR characters, so you might not want to build her because you're going to have more options if you're spending a lot of money. So that's just something to consider. For the other 2, you're going to get them from the standard dream. So if we go to normal mode, we go to these, you're going to see for these progressions, you're going to pick up those Victoria and Nina shards through here, and that's how you're going to upgrade them. So eventually you are going to be able to get them further, but you don't get them early on, if that makes sense. So if we take a look at this account and where mine are at the moment, if we go over here to partners, we can see over here Nina at 3 star and Victoria at 2 star. So if we go here and we go lens, you can see here I don't have many of those shards. I'm waiting to upgrade them. So for me, from the very at the very start of the game, when you're like getting your first heroes up to like level 15, maybe even 30, it might be worthwhile doing them. Victoria, unfortunately, there's not many great tanks at SR, so basically Kiara or Korea, however you want to say, I can't say her name, Korea or something like that. Anyway, her, we've got things like Selena down here as well, which are decent tanks. But if you don't have any of those guys, whoops, then Victoria is going to be decent for the first day or 2 of play. But I wouldn't. I invested my guys up to 45. I'd probably quit at level 30 with these 2 and then hold out, because you're not going to get enough materials to upgrade them to make them really effective. Now I want to go into them individually and look at their skills and talk about them later on in the game, because they will be worth investing in later on. So over on the Taiwanese server, they're all actually fairly decent in the end game once you have them maxed out, but Seiya is the only one that I'd really invest in, especially for free to play early on, because you can get her to that SSR, get her start up pretty early on compared to the rest of your team. She's going to be pretty solid. Now let's go look at this. So her abilities, this one here, Seiya's unique skill has a 25% chance of killing she has a 25% chance to insta-kill the enemy partner, is pretty much what it is. Instantly wipes out the enemy, equally effective against enemies with current invincible or death resistant status. So when she uses her unique ability, which is this one, her ultimate, so when she spawns or when she's got full rage bar, she uses this ability, it's got a 25% chance to just delete the enemy partners. It's not going to work against the enemy leader in PvP and stuff like that, but enemy partners, it's just going to straight delete them. So really good against a Selena or something like that who has like 3 lives, all those things, it just straight deletes them. So you got that 25% chance, really good to play around with RNG. Then we've got this ability, say attacks a single enemy and deals 500% damage. If the target is an enemy partner, deals additional damage equal to 15% of their max HP. So she's a real partner killer. I see her used a fair bit in PvP even. People just drop her and that way they've got a chance to kill anything that someone drops to defend the leader and stuff like that. Not too bad. Then we'll go ahead and check the lens upgrades. So as we go down here, we're going to get increased chance for the instant kill by 5% and 5% attack higher than the target. So not too bad. Basically, you get that extra 5%, really, really nice. And then this one down here for the special, increased crit by 35% when attacking. More chance to crit, more reliable, really, really nice. So that is her, but she is really, really actually solid towards the late game and early game. She's one that I just figure is good the whole game, because early game free to play, you can get it to 4-star. Not too bad. Have to wait to be able to get those last 2 stars, but still you're going to get some really effective use out of her. Really strong single target nuker, not too bad. And then in the late game, that passive is just really, really valuable in certain situations to be able to just instantly kill some really troublesome enemies. So not too bad at all. Next up we have Nina. Now Nina is actually really strong if you can max her out, especially in a sorcerer team where she can really shine. Let's just take a look at her. Every time Nina deals damage to an enemy, her damage rate increased by 9%. So you can really stack up that damage. And she has a column attack here, which is going to deal damage, and you can get straight to the enemy leader with this. I really prefer column over row in most situations, so it's really, really nice. And for each target hit, increases crit rate by 17%. So she's going to boost her crit rate really, really fast. And then on top of that, we've also got the effect from her lens up. That's also going to give her additional crit damage from that ability as well. But then we've got this one here, increases the crit rate by 50% by 2 rounds when attacking. So this is tied into her special, so when she does a basic attack, got 30% chance to activate this, and it's going to actually increase her crit rate. So that combined with her other passive, she's pretty much sitting at 100% crit rate and just destroying things. So especially in a sorcerer team that really focuses around boosting sorcerer damage, she can be absolutely vicious endgame, but like I said, really quite trash in the early game because you're stuck at 3 stars and not really doing too much with her. And now for Victoria. Now she's another one that's actually quite decent against certain comps, but like I said, still trash early game because you can't star her up. But let's take a look. So when Victoria appears, she grants a 40% HP shield. If Saya and Nina are on the field, she gains an additional 15%. So it's still a 40% shield ain't too bad when you get summoned. Then we've got this ultimate ability, or the unique. When the sword and shield as one. I always read that first bit and I really don't need to. Victoria attacks a single enemy and deals attack 400% damage. Not too bad, but the taunts all enemies for 2 rounds is really nice on this one. Can really help you out against some heavy single target damage dealers. You don't have to put her in front of your leader because you can put her in the back, on the side, anywhere, because she's going to be taunting and getting that aggro, meaning you can put other partners in line with the enemy leader to try and deal damage to them and just clear that line, while she can still be taking the aggro from another spot, which is what really makes her good. Now the problem is, obviously she's really squishy at 2-star, but with just these 2 abilities, once she loses her shield, she might sound pretty average because she's just taunting, but then she's just going to get deleted, and that's where her lens up comes into play. So here we have increase the block rate by 15%, which is nice, and then we get another increases block rate by 20% after taking action. So really nice getting those extra block rate increases. She also does get the passive HP and the HP up here, so she gets some passive stat increases, but also the block rate increases, which allows her to survive. Now you are going to have a healer with her to make her actually survive. She's not completely self-sufficient. But having said that, the taunt can be completely invaluable against certain teams. Against cleave teams, she's not too great, but gets anything that's heavy single target driven, or even anything that's column or row damage driven, she's going to be fantastic, because she's basically going to make them focus her column with column attacks, and you can just make sure that she's the only one in that column, and then the rest of your team is protected. It's just against complete board wipe AoEs that hit the 9 squares where she's not going to be as strong, but definitely really, really solid. But just recapping on these guys, for most people, especially free to play, build Saya along your campaign, really worth it. The other 2, I just leave them basically at level 30 is pretty much where they start to drop off, just due to the star levels. But then later game, once you progress further and you start to get more of their shards and start lensing them up further, that is when they all become very useful. I believe I saw a Taiwanese tier list, which I take tier list with a grain of salt, but they were all up there in the top few tiers for their tier list. But just in general, they're all going to be decent. But unfortunately, you can't get the shards too early for these two. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.